Hello, hello, hello. Are we good? Let me just check this. Yeah, we're all good. Sounds good. Video's good.
Yeah.
Joystick Junior, George Jackson, DXN. Welcome everyone to the VR link. First time I've done it with these two superstars. We've got SalsaKetchup. He obviously does a lot of virtual reality gaming. Some of you know him. And then you got Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming. And yeah, basically I wanted to get us all together because there's one thing we all have in common at the moment, which is basically the Oculus Quest, and I wanted to get some live feedback from these guys. How's their time been with it, and not only that, talk about other things. Do you know what I mean? Talk about virtual reality gaming in general. What's everyone been up to? And yeah, excellent stuff. Thank you all for joining. How you doing, guys? You all good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sweet. Nice.
Yes, pleasure to be here.
It's superb, man. It's superb. Who we got in the chat?
We've got
Joystick Guru, I can see in there.
Yeah, Junior. We got Junior.
DXN.
Nice.
Hi.
Joystick is recommending a whiskey for himself, and I know that Chris, you will like to join him on that.
I do. I love whiskey, but unfortunately, I've got work.
Yeah.
Oh, Sonny in VR's just joined us as well. Hi, Sonny.
Hey, Kushti. Yeah, that's it, man. Manly men.
Oh.
They don't know me then. That's definitely not a label for me.
Quality
I just
stuff.
got beers.
Excellent. Decepticon. Oh, yeah. He does the best Bill Cosby impression. It is so good. It's so good. Talking about, anyway, so Trover Saves the Universe, which we will talk about anyway. I didn't know Justin Rowland made a series about the Cosbys, and he done like a cartoon series. I've never seen it, but I've got to see it now. It looked really funny.
Well, he got kind of pulled or something, didn't it?
Right.
Because of different issues there.
I'd imagine so.
But it was, basically clones.
So Decepticons just found a show too. Yeah, I need to see that, man. I need to see it. It looks really good. But yeah, smile up.
Face. Possibly. I don't know. I feel rather inadequate next to these guys. They're like beards.
I can be compared to him. Look at that. Jesus. How big is that going to be? Where's it going?
What, this? I have no idea.
You don't know where it's going to go in the end?
Well, isn't that the fun part? Just letting it see what happens.
Nice.
What's the worst that could happen? I could get trapped in a combine harvester and die. Yeah, whatever. At least it's an interesting way to die.
Well, why don't you put it in the belt at a certain point? You do a rinse wind and put it in the belt.
No.
Oh, mate, you're about Discworld. Yeah, I used to love all that.
Yeah, Discworld was class.
I had it on the PlayStation. It was fantastic.
Go with it. See, Decepticons on board with the wizard thing.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. So let's get down to it, guys. Let's start talking about this little bad boy here. Now we're all together.
Quest.
Yeah,
the Quest.
So, that's it, man. That's it. Nice. Souse with the googly eyes.
It's got to be done.
So, let me just ask. We'll go with that first. Your initial thoughts on the Quest?
Highly impressed. Fantastic bit of hardware. There's some software bits lacking, and they're kind of weird, especially with the way Oculus are positioning that. But they're minor complaints, and they're things that can be quite easily fixed as well. But the hardware itself, it's fantastic, easy to use, easy to get into. I mean, I thought PlayStation VR was really easy to set up. It's got nothing on Oculus Quest. It's even easier to set up. You can be up and gaming within a couple of minutes quite easily.
That's exactly what I said in my my review. Actually, it's one of those things where I never considered it an issue to set up using the PlayStation, obviously, or anything. But now, when you've got this, suddenly it is a bit of an issue. Do you know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the wire. It's the untethered experience that you have. the amount of times where I've swung myself around. I mean, the game that I've spent most time with is Super Hot, and sort of like I've kicked out with my foot accidentally, and it's like, hold on, I've just kicked a box that I thought was over the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And you don't realise that you've swung around, and it's just so freeing. And to be honest, again, like I say, I've spent most of my time with Super Hot, and it's a completely different game against PlayStation VR. It was one of my favourite on PlayStation VR, but it's just so much easier to play, to move, and everything like that. And then something like Vader Immortal, which I've spent a bit of time with. Haven't completed it, but I've spent some time.
Oh,
that first bit where Vader approaches you, literally chills just went down my spine. Because it's everything I've ever wanted as a Star Wars.
He's massive in virtual reality.
He is
huge.
a proper big lad.
Geezer's a unit. His shoulders, I was like, wow, that is so broad. Like in VR, that stands out a mile. So
Thanks, SalsaKetchup as well, by the way, for the donation.
Oh, thank you ever so much, dude. Thank you. So Salsa, what about you, dude? Talk to me about how you found it.
How have I found it? Yeah, I think it's the overall package that works, really, isn't it? I mean, the onboarding process, I think, is really impressive. So if you get this when you first get it, and you go, there's the box, right, there's a bit of card I've taken out. Oh, I'm supposed to get this app, am I? Right, okay, get the app. Boom, boom. It does it all as soon, it does it all easy as an onboarding process. There's nothing else in VR that is quite as simple when it comes to 6 degrees of freedom. Of getting into a headset, all the setup and stuff like that is really, really easy. I think the other point is, as a product, the boxing as well was really well done. So you pulled it out, and it's just like, that's the entire thing. It's a little box. It's like shoebox size.
I was saying it felt like a game console. It didn't feel like.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's the Switch. It's the mobile games console though. Of VR.
To say that,
well, in some ways, I would actually say the actual packaging, the box that it comes in, is actually better quality than you get for a Switch or a PS4 or an Xbox One. It was a very hefty, and it felt like there was actually money spent on the box.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't a huge amount, but it definitely felt that way. It was solid. It wasn't flexy or anything like that. So, I mean, in terms of the consoles, they have to be taken.
They want to get that. The big deal with this is literally to get the numbers. Zuckerberg said himself, he wants to see 1 billion people in VR. And it's sort of like, this is the vehicle of choice, because the only way you get people to understand VR is if they've actually get to try it.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of people, when you say, well, you need this and you need that and you need this other thing there, it's too much for them. Whereas...
just
thanks, Soulseeker. He's just put a donation in for you again.
Oh, bloody hell, dude. And he's got a quick question. Do you think I should get the Oculus or get an HTC Vive? Now, I haven't got an HTC Vive personally. I'm, at the moment, all Oculus. And I know you can use Viveport Infinity with that. So you're going to be able to use Vive games on the Oculus. So I guess it then comes down to what I know is the controllers. Now, I personally only ever held the HTC Vive controllers once. And I thought they're like... It felt like... It's terrible to say... It felt like someone invented the first virtual reality controller, and it isn't very good, I thought, compared to the controllers you get on here. Now, I'm assuming you mean the Rift, because you're talking about PC VR. So, yeah, for me, man, it was Oculus all the way, but go on, Sals.
I think it really does depend on what games you're looking at playing, to be truthful. On any VR or where you're looking at gaming, if you want something that you want to be able to do anywhere, then these are brilliant. I mean, they are so portable and it's easy, and the gaming side is pretty good. But if you're looking at saying, I want to do Sims, then you might be looking at either the Rift S, or you might look at the Index, or you might look at one of the Windows MR, the new HP one. What's the HP one that
Oh,
came out?
not the Inverb.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can't think.
I can't think of the name at all.
Yeah, I can't. I think Nafi's got one, isn't he? Reverb.
Reverb.
The HP Reverb.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those, if you were doing like sim games where you're not ultra concerned about room scale tracking or stuff like that, if you're doing things that are more sim based or seated experience, then stuff with inside out tracking is easy to set up, quick to set up, and some of those headsets, you know, the Rift S, the screens can look really good. And HTC Vive now, I think the standard Vive has gone past it. You're looking at a Vive Pro to get the most.
Yeah.
But the Rift S is at a good price point.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not a PC VR gamer, but I mean, kind of, I'll give you my thoughts from the outside looking in. Vive kind of covers the bases, but there isn't really anything exclusive to the Vive anymore, whereas there's a lot of stuff that's exclusive to Oculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the question now isn't, I think Vive in some ways is kind of getting left behind, and the reason it's going to get left behind is Index. I think Index is a much more attractive proposition for that customer.
Agreed.
It's not, Oculus are going a different way. Oculus, with the Oculus Quest and the Rift S, they're trying to get as many people in as possible, and they've said that the reason they haven't done this £1,000 PC headset is that's not the market they're going for.
Yeah.
But the games, I mean, you know, I've said this to Chris in the past that because I don't have a Rift, I haven't got a PC to run it. But when Stormland comes out, I will be jealous when he's playing Stormland because that game looks amazing, and there's other games that have been out as well. So from the outside, I think Rift has kind of been left behind. Vive has been left behind. I think really your two options are Oculus Rift or the Index. If you want the highest possible quality, you're going to go with Index. If you just want a fantastic experience, you're going to go with Rift because it's going to save you money, but the quality of experiences, as you said, Chris, Viveport is now playable through Oculus Rift, so you're not really losing anything anymore.
I think as a gamer, the ultimate, for me personally, the ultimate, and this is sort of why I've done what I've done, is now I love my PlayStation exclusives. Yeah, like we all do. Yeah, VR is still smashing it, and last week or this week is testament to that. It's been absolutely amazing again. When you've got the PC side of it as well, when you go into Oculus exclusives, you have almost covered everything. There's nothing really left out, and that's another reason why I was really pleased that people who've on PlayStation have now got this, and they're like, dude, Robo Recall, and I'm like, it's an amazing game, isn't it? And I sort of hope that somehow they go into PC, like JD Max, for example. I'm sure we all know JD Max. I spoke to him on the phone a few times, and he's blown away by it. Do you know what I mean? He's blown away by the how immersive the games are, how brilliant they are, because sometimes there's a price to pay for VR gaming. Like, it might be immersive, but the graphical quality takes a hit compared to non-VR games. As on PC, you seem to get current generation games in VR. They look that way, but I thought PlayStation this week, especially Blood and Truth, that is a before I get into it with that, visually that game is incredible.
It's a stunning game. It is a stunning game.
Yeah. Oh, I won't disagree about the quality. The visuals are amongst the best that PlayStation VR has to offer, 100%.
Yeah. So, just to go back to what Joystick was saying, he said, I heard you appreciate the comfortability of PSVR after using the Quest. So, that is something that I've tried to cover a few times on the videos, and that is about how wearing this is so important, like how to put this on. And I've said it before, basically make sure you loosen all these straps, like as much as you can, and basically put it over your head and make sure that this part of it is on the back of your head. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of you on PlayStation will know what I'm talking about. You're aware that where it sits under the sort of this part of your head here, it's got to be the same. It's got to be the same. And then what that band will take away a lot of this weight. And I've seen people that tube and make content wearing it different. Like they're wearing it, I don't mean it, but first of all, everyone was sort of wearing it a bit wrong. And it can dig into your cheeks, it can dig into your forehead. So, yeah, man, there's definitely something very important about getting this right. And I think that's why it's got this massive tilt on it. So it can be really adaptable for different people's heads and stuff. But yeah, that was in my, I done the whole thing in my Quest review, putting it on and stuff. And also we've got covers, which we was talking about earlier. Like VR Cover are doing an offering at the moment, which is I'm sort of looking at, and I was speaking to about it earlier. I'm going to try and drop a review for them tomorrow to go through it and share my thoughts on it. But also,
I'm waiting on mine. Yeah.
You was talking about the grips as well earlier.
Yeah, the grips.
You got some
hang
grips.
On a second, because I had to plug in. Hopefully this doesn't die on me.
Yo, madman, how's it going? Who we got in the chat now?
Soul Seeker, you madman as well.
Oh my God, who's that? Soul Seeker. Oh, thank you very much. Did you see that guy spent
He's saying about
Oh weekend. Yes, I did.
VR. No, I couldn't spend a week in a VR headset.
No.
I don't know. I mean, that'd be like, I think I'd feel quite, claustrophobic after a while. It depends. Do you know what though? I reckon if I could have enough power source, I could do it in this with pass through. I reckon I could do that.
I think it'd weird you out. I just wouldn't recommend it to somebody. Somebody's done that as like a stunt thing, and it's like, okay,
it's definitely clickbait.
That's
great.
Definitely
clickbait.
It is clickbait. It's not sort of like what you expect to do from it, you know.
No, it's got nothing to do with VR really at all, is it? I mean, but
no,
he did a few things though I thought was pretty cool, and I guess these things we take for granted. Where in VR you can, and especially in VR chat and alt space and stuff, you can go to different places. Like I've been to a rave in Rec Room. He went to yoga classes in the mornings. In alt space. Yeah. So from another point of view, I thought he'd done a fantastic job of showing another side of VR, that it's not just gaming. There's a huge social side of it, and I really liked the video for that. I thought that was good.
Let's get back to the grips, which I don't know if you've seen that. You can see like the knuckle style grip on the Oculus thing. So you basically just put this in. It's got a thing that you wrap around, and that's an elasticated thing, and slip your hand through there, and bam, you can actually then open your hands up on the controls. It's like another level of freedom, and that's of course what the index, the Vive Index controllers are doing. That were known as the knuckles. I keep think of these as the knuckle grips for your Oculus, and I tell you, as soon as you start playing like super hot in the Quest with these, like I was out in my back garden last night. When the sunset comes down, you can use the Quest sort of like in that midpoint of light. Is sort of like this. When you're throwing objects in VR, and you do that odd sort of like thing. It's like you do that. Oh, I keep hold of the controller.
Yeah.
To literally be able to grab hold of something with the grab finger and literally go like that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I just did that.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually hit him. Yes.
Yeah, man.
So
how much do they retail for?
I keep on forgetting to think. It was about 30 odd euros plus postage packing.
And what's the name of the make?
It is. Let me get the full side up.
Just quickly want to say hello to everyone. Who we got in here now? So we've got Smiler, Soul Seeker, Midlife, Shat, Stevie D, Arnuki. How's it going, man? You alright? Tries Gaming, no worries. Stephen, that Denver dude. Nice. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. So it is Mammoth VR.
Mammoth VR, yeah.
Yeah. So it's MAMMOTH. NUT.
I might put that in the chat, man.
You put that in, and it was there. Okay. Oh, yeah. So
I think you're a mod anyway, South, so you could probably
yeah,
chuck that into as a link.
Yeah, they're sold out at the moment. I got one of the last pairs there, so it's not listing the price on here.
Yeah.
But I do know the shipping got included free because I think it was about €35.
Right.
Okay.
So
I think that's pretty cool. Actually,
it is pretty good. I'm just going to put the link in there to the chat, and we can show that. Boom.
Right. Cool.
So,
Let's start talking about some games that we've all played this week, and I'm going to start out. I'm going to start out with Blood and Truth, because on PlayStation VR that is a massive hit and a big deal. It's a big deal. Do you know what I mean? You go across Twitter and stuff; it's everywhere there. Apparently, the advertising campaign for it was absolutely massive. Like Preacher Plays one, it's telling me it's in the cinemas, and so like, there's massive backings behind it. So yeah,
a huge what do you call it? One of the more famous locations in Hollywood has got a massive, great big banner in LA. So one of the big billboards in LA.
yeah. I saw one for the Quest as well with Beat Saber, and it looked absolutely fantastic. So it's so good, man, because like VR is obviously growing, and we're all part of that, and we want to see it grow. So Salsa, I'm gonna start with you, man. Talk to me about Blood and Truth. How did you feel playing that game?
Well, I felt like a badass, basically. I get emotional with games that give you connection, that try to connect straight away, and I felt, for me personally, I felt really good connections with that because I like sort of like the style of films. Like I equate a game like that more to a filmic narrative stuff.
Yeah.
And then everything on top of that. So the storytelling in that really worked, and then the action blends in nicely for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really loved about that game, is that it goes, right, here's the story bit, you get that, you're in there, and then go with this. Here's the action bit. And it's like breaking down the panics and the action to a bit of story, and the acting and all the sound design and everything then came in. And it was like, you know what, as a VR thing, this is if you see like the early point of VR, and every filmmaker was saying, oh, we'll be able to tell this story and that story and this with film, and it never happened. I think that's where Blood and Truth really got it good.
Nice.
That's more an angle that Hollywood production would go down with video games rather than what they've done in the past.
Yeah, so like with when you talk about the story and stuff,
yeah,
when it started, I didn't really care about the story. I was a bit like, nah, I don't really care about it. But then when it got into the family side of things, and I let myself get interested in it, when I was like, I streamed the whole thing from start to finish. I think it's one of those games actually is good to play that way. Do you know what I mean? Because it felt like I was in a film experience, and I was really in the story, and I absolutely loved it. And when I got to the end of it, I was like, this is, to me, it was very special, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to head over to, where are you, Nat?
You just want to point at me and laugh, don't you?
No, because everyone's got different opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm most probably the most down on the game. I considered it above average, a good game. I don't see it being like the reviews I was seeing, 10 out of 10s, 5s out of 10s, 9s out of 10s. I was looking at the game and I was like, okay, what am I missing here? Obviously, I did have a little bit of a benefit. The place that I ordered the game from shipped it to me, and I had it on the Saturday before it launched. So
Nice.
I had it like 3 days before. So I played through the game. Obviously, with my experience with the Inpatient, where I streamed that and it literally blocked out my YouTube channel, I wasn't going to stream Blood and Truth straight away.
No.
Which I almost probably would have done otherwise. So, I say I kind of got a lot of backlash from it because I called it an above-average game. Because there's so much that I do like about the game. The story I love. the interactions with the characters live. I think the graphics are amongst the best that PlayStation VR has ever had. The character size models, and I'm comparing that to Bravo Team, were fantastic. You can tell that the developers cared about the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Bravo Team, the character models are such a weird size.
Yeah.
And it completely takes
even the
straight
guns were overly sized. I think in Bravo
Yeah.
Team they fixed that in an update. So
yeah. So like I say, there was so much. The music was really cool. My biggest takeaway, the bit where I was just like, I'm not too sure about this, was actually the gameplay sequences. I could see what they were going for.
Right.
And we discussed this earlier with Salsa, where I was kind of saying, well, I was kind of thinking it was going to be a Farpoint, a Borderlands, a first person, because you are putting a first person effect. It felt very constrictive in terms of the movement, and that was the bit I couldn't let go of.
Yeah, that's the switch between what I termed as Farpoint as an FPS, and I don't think of Blood and Truth as an FPS. I think of Blood and Truth as an arcade shooter.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. I think there is that you see the VR side of it, and you go, FPS. Why can't I move back? I should be able to turn around on this thing. And, yeah. And I think of Blood and Truth as an arcade shooter. It is your Time Crisis. It is the proper full Time Crisis of VR.
So there was we was talking about me and Nat, and I don't know if you did tell us, at EGX last year, we played Blood and Truth, and we both walked away and in complete agreement when that was underwhelming. Like, that was not what we was expecting at all. And I don't know if Nat will agree with this, but I remember it actually being quite blurry in the headset. Maybe I mean, and I haven't seen anyone's video, because the social thing doesn't do any favors. Or sorry, it makes games look better than they look in the headset on the PSVR. I don't know whether there's pro features, but definitely from my point of view, the game looked a lot better now than it did at the demo. And I remember us playing it and selecting where to go, and I was thinking, oh no, bloody Bravo Team, here we go. Like Bravo Team, where as you move, you can't even shoot. So you're just a walking target and you get shot and stuff. And I was like, oh no, that's cool. We can sort of slide in and out. They've added a bit where you can sort of choose to, if you're behind a pillar, slide from left to right. That was quite nice. So they've added a little bit in there. But to me, when I play this, I think there will definitely be a sequel, and they'll do it again. And I think that one will have the free locomotion, because this game's been in development for such a long time, and they've been using these bloody 10-year-old, 9-year-old sticks of joy that, to be fair, have brought me some amazing experiences. Like some games like Killing Floor, Skyrim, absolutely smash it. And you know what I mean, whenever there's a developer and they say, like Immortal Legacy, for example, Jesus, I didn't get that control scheme at all. But when I was talking to them, I was like, just copy Skyrim, just copy Killing Floor, you're going to get it. And you know, they can work. So, and I also found the movement system suited the game as well in Blood and Truth. You know what I mean? And just to reiterate, Nat, you never said it was a bad game. You just said it was a good game.
Yeah, I just said, look, it's an above-average good game, and I've got a lot of feedback, comments, absolutely slating me. At the end of the day, it's just my opinion. I'm not right. I'm not wrong. I've had people that, because I absolutely demolished Don't Knock Twice, and I've had people saying, why the hell did you hate that game so much? It's a really good game. Everyone's got an opinion. So yeah, if somebody has a great time with the game, that's all I care about. Yeah. Whether I have a good time, is a different thing. Well, but like I say, there's so much that is good about that game. I say the movement scheme is the thing that, I say, kind of drove me up the wall. And there was a few times, as you said, with the Move controllers, where it was just like, oh, these bloody controllers just drive me up the wall. Now, that's actually nothing against the game. Every developer has to deal with that. That's down to Sony not wanting to replace them. And they can. They've proved it because they've given us the goddamn aim controller. If you can do the aim controller with analog sticks on, why the hell can you not do two separate Move controllers that have analog sticks? That would be a game changer. you know, for things, but they just don't want to spend the money, split the base. I don't know what the reason is, but they've decided the Move controllers are going to be what it is.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm hoping for, and obviously we started off talking about the Oculus. The Oculus has got off to an absolutely amazing start. It's sold out everywhere. You cannot buy it. Yeah. It will come back into stock. The games are selling well. We know that because we're being told that by developers. The super hot developers have said, what is it, 300% more sales on the Quest than they got when they launched on the Rift. And the Rift, it launched when the touch controllers were. So it's not a case of, well, there wasn't any Rifts out on the marketplace. I'm hoping that Quest gets the sales and Sony have to respond. That was always my biggest complaint when Microsoft bailed on VR, and they did bail. They had it ready. Developers have said it was ready. It was going to go. We had games ready for it. Microsoft bailed. My biggest complaint when they did that is it allowed Sony free reign. They could do what they want because where could you go? You don't place you go where there's a high-end PC. Quest changes the question because now Sony have to respond.
So I just read Chat's comment. Sorry. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. That's quality, mate. Yeah, man. So, I mean, to me, Blood and Truth actually at the moment is. He just read it. Yeah, it's it is actually my favourite game in PSVR at the moment. That and Astrobot, and obviously, I mean, when I do a top 10, really a lot of them are like number 2, number 1s. I hate to pick like that, but Blood and Truth. Absolutely smashed it for me personally. It was above expectations.
It's on the top 10.
And you can vape. You get chicken flavoured vape. Do you know, what's that about? I was like, chicken flavoured vape. I've never heard of it.
That was annoying the hell out of me.
Oh, what?
I hate vaping anyway in real life.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah, I'll grab a vape. It was like, really? You mother effers.
Let me just go through the chat quickly. All right, Dunky, how's it going? Thank you for joining. So I've done this show on I say a show, it was just a live chat, and I wanted to turn it into something, and these gentlemen are two people that I respect their opinions on, and I've met them both in real life, and we've chatted.
In the real world, yeah.
In the real world, and so I just thought it'd be nice, since we've all got, obviously, something in common, which is currently, obviously, VR and the Quest more specifically. I thought it'd be pretty cool to ask them if they wanted to join me today, and just see where it, do you know what I mean? If it gets some legs and people enjoy it, we'll carry on doing it. Silver's come up with a great comment here. The acting in Blood and Truth. So that could have killed it for me. Like, if you're going to tell a story, it's got to be good. And it's got to be really well voice acted. And I thought it was very good.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the biggest points on a lot of VR games that I do rate in my top 10 list has been the thing of the acting, the sound, and the animation.
Yeah.
So that you can feel the quality of it because you connect to it. Mm-hmm. If it has anything that disconnects you, then that's where you lose it, because that quality of just the motion capture as well, the motion capture, the faces, and everything else like that. Even when at the beginning, where you're not invested in the story first of all, and you've got a clipboard and you're messing around with the clipboard. Well, whatever, blah blah blah.
It dragged me in.
And then you sort of like, hang on, and then you start playing the other character that you're being. You though you got the voice lines of the character here. I found myself because I live streamed the first one as well. Did you find yourself ad-libbing lines into their speeches and stuff?
Well, I was doing something with the woman that turned out to be mother. That there was a Oedipus complex going on, because I didn't realise she was my mother first of all. So I was doing things with her.
Oh man!
I was like, I couldn't really tell the thing. I was things that you shouldn't do with another woman. Who's your mother, especially. I was. I
want to go and watch that stream now.
No, I wasn't doing that in the stream. My first play. Are you kidding? My stream is because I'd already played the game. I knew what was happening, so I was just kind of giving my thoughts about the game. But yeah, the first time I played it, this woman's there and everything, and she didn't say anything about father to about like 45 seconds in, and I'm playing with her fun bag, shall we say, and then she mentions, "Oh, about your father," and I'm just like, "Okay,
Oh
I've got my
my
hands in a
God.
very inappropriate place here," because I was just having a bit of fun. I was like, "Have fun, do what you do."
What? How interactive they made this model?
Let's make
Basically,
it that interactive. I was just having. I
It weren't
I
like
was making my
it
own
wasn't like
interaction fun.
was it like a Dead or Alive model? Do you
Yeah.
remember them bad boys? That was
Oh
crazy.
God.
You all right,
But-
Richard? How's it going? Robert Shooter, thank you ever so much for the donation. How are you? And I believe Robin has just picked up a Quest as well today. She messaged me earlier saying she's just going to start experiencing it and stuff and see what happens.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, man, it'd be brilliant. So,
This
staying on.
This is another question actually. Quest. Oh, are we doing Blood and Truth still? Or...
No. I was going to move on. Basically, I wanted to sort of see if you guys have played Trover.
Not yet.
No,
I purchased
not
it, but
yet.
I just haven't had a chance to play it yet.
I've
I'm
had a
really looking
look
forward to
at.
it though.
Yeah, I've had a look at obviously like Jables and all that lot and a couple of other things, and they look interesting. But obviously, there's some big names that have been playing it out there and having a good laugh with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we can always talk about that one next week. And Five Nights at Freddy's. Have you guys experienced that yet?
No.
Oh, I've had people ask. I'm not big on horror, so that would have to be. I think I would definitely need to get some drinking, and I don't normally swear on streams, but I think I probably could. And I think it's one of those ones where I'd have to have the vid cam going because I know that I'd like to watch it back as a person.
Yeah.
Because
My family were watching
I
me
would laugh
play
at
it.
myself. I laugh at
Trover.
myself, yeah.
No, it's not. Trover comes out on PCVR on the 4th of June. So what is that, like 2 days away?
Mm.
So yeah, a lot of people have been asking me that or stating it is an exclusive and it's not. But I guess it's a 5-day exclusive or something. I don't know whether
Yeah,
that's
I think that's
intentional.
the other thing. If you've got the choice between PSVR and PC, we tend to go for the PC side because you've got some better optics or whatever there. But or an exclusive. But it really does depend on the length of time between some things because there's some games that are exclusives. There you go, I've got to have this now.
Hmm.
Or I'm looking forward to this so much that I must have this on this day.
Yeah. So I'm going to now jump back into the Quest. So what is your? I don't want to say top 3 games, but what is your game that you'd recommend for someone to play first when they get the Oculus Quest?
Totally new to VR or been in
Yeah,
VR?
I'd say go new because I think the Quest is going to bring new people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brand new people. I think that's like you were saying earlier. That is the strategy, and this has got the ability to do it. Like you know what I mean? This isn't like a half-assed VR. This isn't 3 degrees of movement. This is, as far as I'm concerned, I know you've got some visual clarity loss compared to what you've played and what you've seen, but for me, this is high quality VR.
Yeah, I think for myself, one that I've liked a lot is Dance Central. I'm having fun with Dance Central at the minute. I'm having to get to learn my dance floor moves because it's a free style dance.
You've got a bit of a
Not
background in dancing, though, haven't you?
Yeah, like I used to. The salsa in my name comes from salsa dancing, not the sauce. Everybody always
But you
thinks
put
the
ketchup
dip.
in it.
I know, because I like ketchup, and it's confusing. But you've got salsa, the dance, and ketchup, the sauce. So
Right.
it's salsa sauce. But it's just mix all the metaphors of what you can completely mess up.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's another thing where I need to get. I know I need to get some vibes on to move a bit. Another bit of exercise as well.
So it's a game I
And,
haven't actually
that's
explored
good.
much about it. So like, how many songs has it got, and what sort of features has it got?
It's got about 30 odd songs it comes
32
with.
songs it comes with.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's done by Harmonix.
Yeah.
So it's the same people that did Rock Band
And Audica, I love Audica.
and Audica. Yeah. So they've got some major clout with artists behind this one.
Yeah.
So they've got 30 odd songs. These are chart topping songs as well. They're not unknowns. They are songs that you could definitely hear out there in a club. It puts you in a virtual nightclub, and it's sort of like American LA style nightclub. You're there on the dance floor trying to take stage, doing that whole dance thing that you would do from like Xbox style, or whatever style they also do. And it just works because you get into it. You've got to mirror someone. You can see them there in VR. You've got like it's a cell shaded style.
Yeah.
And it's also cross buy as well. So if you buy it on PC, if you buy it from the Oculus store, you get it for both the Rift and the Quest.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough that they also did a bundle at the same time that had that and a game that I already own.
All right.
So I bought the bundle and I got an extra 50p off.
Can't complain about that then.
No, man, you can't complain about saving a bit of money. What about you then, Nat? What would you say is like your game for a new person in VR?
Well, the game that I've spent most time with, and it's nothing specific. As I say, I've had a lot of issues trying to get the streaming thing up, and that's why I haven't actually tried a lot of games. I've purchased a ton of games.
Yeah.
The game I've spent most time with is Super Hot, because on a pure gameplay mechanic thing, it's just the perfect type of game for VR, and the Oculus Quest version is the definitive version as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
Because it just gives you so much freedom. You haven't got to worry about wires or anything like that.
Yeah.
The visuals were very basic anyway, so the power of the Quest doesn't become an issue.
And it's lovely and sharp, isn't it? It's lovely and sharp.
It's amazingly sharp. And I know what Salsa was saying about making the throws of the controllers, because you still do need to keep it in your mind that. I mean, obviously, I very rarely wear the straps for the Move controllers.
Yeah.
I pretty much made sure that I was wearing the straps on the Oculus Quest controllers, because there has actually been quite a few times where I've gone there and literally the controller's gone boom like that. So if I didn't have the strap on, it would have been fine somewhere in my room. The other game that I've spent a bit of time with, just because I wanted to try it, was Journey of the Gods.
Yes.
And I've spent about an hour with that, and I was highly impressed with what I've been doing with that. I don't know how long the game is in a full
apparently it's a 5 to 6
like
hour again, but there's loads of collectibles.
But I was having so much fun, because what you don't get in the demo, at least I didn't see it in the demo when I tried the demo, that you get in the first level is a bit where you pick up the trees and make them bigger, because you either go, you're a person on the ground or you're a god.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the demo you couldn't pick up the trees and make them bigger, and then when you play in the first level, it actually gives you an option to make the trees as cover.
I'm pretty sure in the demo you can. I'm pretty sure. And you throw the lightning as well.
Maybe
and
I just didn't see it, but I thought that was just such a clever mechanic. And everything. So I've loved my time with Journey of the Gods as well. And even though I haven't completed it, and it's kind of crazy to say that because it's only about an hour long, I believe, is Vader Immortal. And that because I'm a Star Wars fan, that first sequence when Vader approaches you, just sent chills down my spine. It's literally the same thing as when I played the X-Wing VR missions. And you're sitting in the cockpit, and all you're geeking out because you're like, I am sitting in the cockpit of an X-Wing fighter, which you think. And then the next bit is in this one, it's like, oh my God, Vader, and Jesus Christ, does he look imposing, shall we say?
He's huge.
When he approaches you, that was like all my dreams as a Star Wars kid all in one, because you was just like, I want Vader to force choke me. You're fit as a kid.
I want him to choke me.
I did. I was just like, oh, choke me. So
I just want to say thank you to Ryan Schuler.
Brilliant.
Cheers, thank you. You all right, Trevor? How's it going? Nice, Junior. See you later, man. Take care of yourself. Midlife, thank you ever so much for the donation, dude. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to touch back on Vader as well, because as much as I love Robo Recall, that's the game that I personally really love.
Yeah, I've played a lot of that.
I love the music in it though, and that's one of the things for me. It feels so. It is like Super Hot. It's a cool game. Do you know what I mean? It's really cool, and it just feels brilliant. And when I played the Dojo mode in Star Wars, in lightsaber. There's
Well,
no other game for me at the moment on the Quest that forces me to use that 360 degrees of freedom, because you've obviously got the things where you in Star Wars where you got the blast shield on the face and you're deflecting in Luke Skywalker's doing that. You do that in the lightsaber dojo, and I was spinning around. And I was like, dude, this is perfect. This is exactly what the Quest is about. And the moves I was making, I'd have been wrapped up in a cable after about 3 minutes.
2 seconds. 2 seconds and you're wrapped in a cable. The other great one was I sometimes have some bigger spaces available to me from where I work. So Vader Immortal, I played, I was showing the Quest to somebody else at work, and sort of like grabbed one of the big open spaces in one of the buildings, and I had a play space that was about 30 meters by 30 meters set up for them.
Right.
And put them in Vader Immortal.
That's awesome.
And you know, like that play space, they actually limit you to how far you can move.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sorry. If you hear something going over above, the red arrows have just gone over my house.
I thought I had like thunder or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the red arrows.
Oh, cool.
At the moment, so they've literally just flown over and done a thing.
Nice.
So yeah, it's massive when you put that in a big space. If you've got the ability to go, here's 10, 20 meters square, and just go, there's a boundary, and use that amount of space for VR.
Yeah.
It is a different prospect. It changes the way you play it.
Yeah.
But
absolutely, man. Yeah. What was your first time? How did you feel when you first saw the Oculus pass through? Because
it's a bit weird.
I'll never forget that. That was so crazy to experience that.
Well, it's like real world, kind of, sort of miniaturized.
Yeah, and if VR, it's like looking at the world in VR.
Yeah,
I thought it was crazy.
I must have spent about 10 minutes in that, just sort of like, really? This is pass through? I was just kind of, again, like I say, PSVR was has been my main focus on VR, and you look at it now, and it's just like, well, it makes so much sense to have the pass through running on that system, and I was just like, well, this is crazy. So I was literally for 5-10 minutes just sort of picking stuff up. Oh, look, there's a Reese peanut butter bar over there. I forgot about that. I'll pick that up. It's like, but as Salsa's saying, everything's kind of miniaturized a little bit. So you're kind of putting your hand down. But after a while, you get used to it. And I was just picking up PS4 controllers, Move controllers, and stuff like this. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. But, hit a button and, I haven't got to take the headset off or anything like that if I'm in the middle of the game. And maybe I just want to grab a drink or something like that, because obviously you put your drink out of the way so it don't get knocked over. But again, it's really easy. Oh, look, there's a drink over there. And again, I was saying about Super Hot kind of just turns you around all over the show. Yeah. You actually forget where you are, and suddenly you can hit the pass-through and say, oh, okay, well, this is where I am now. So the pass-through I thought was it's amazing that it uses the Snapdragon 835. And obviously they were saying, oh, well, we're getting the most power out of it. Yeah. That's being proved. They are definitely getting the most out of that processor.
Yeah, because it's all about thermal throttling, isn't it? They haven't got to thermally throttle the processor in the Quest.
Well, that runs at 100%. Yeah, that runs 100% now. So
that's the heat pipe thing, and a lot of people. You can also have it charging as well when the battery's going low. A lot of people might go, well, why didn't it start charging right away? And it's because of the heat factor as well. So you can, if you wanted to do a really extended play session, which there is a lot of time with that battery. When that battery's full, you've got a good couple of hours. But if you want to extend it, you can use a power pack, run that up, cable in, and when the Quest gets to about the 20-odd% mark, it will start drawing power from the power pack.
So I did a 4-hour and 23-minute live stream, and I had it plugged in from the beginning, and it just stayed at 100% the whole time. And I think it's only when I played Apex Construct, because for me still, my Oculus Rift is the set. I haven't got 3 sensors. I've just got 2. And my PSVR obviously is forward tracking as well, face track. Every VR I've ever had before this is I've always got to face a direction. So when I play
Yeah.
the Quest, I have to remind myself sometimes to hold on a minute. I can actually, my controllers will still stay in front of my face regardless of where I turn. So I'm still sort of getting used to that side of it. And I
That's
played,
interesting.
yeah. And I played Apex, and I was like, hold on a minute. Why do I actually keep having to turn in the game when, like with the joysticks, I can actually turn in real life and play it? And that's why I wanted to use the battery pack. And I found one the other day when I done my Quest review. $13.99 is the one that I used, and by the end of it, so 4.5 hours, it kept it 100%, and it only took like half the battery's life. So potentially, you could do 8 to 10 hours with disconnected.
Yeah, it's unusual because I mean, when I read over the specs and some of the different things on the dev side of it, um, it may just be that it's temperature aware as well, because games that I was playing it where I did note that the front was a bit hot or whatever, it wouldn't charge it while I had the game active,
Yeah,
because it was running hot,
right.
and that's a part of it because the battery's all internal to it as well. The heat pipe is there, but when the battery gets lower, it actually loses the temperature a bit. So if you've got a battery that's high up in charge and you're using it constantly and you're using the processor, that's a lot more heat.
Yeah,
When the battery gets to a lower point, it cools off quite rapidly with the cooling they've got on there, because they've got a cooling pipe, a heat pipe
that's
in
it.
there.
Yeah. They got the plate, the heat
And
plate, the fan, and the exhaust thing.
exactly.
Yeah,
And when you have a battery that you're charging from a low power yield,
yeah.
it doesn't take as much heat as quick.
So have you found it getting
So
hot then? Have you found it getting hot?
warm, not hot.
Yeah, I'd say warm. I haven't had any hot heat things. What about you,
Yeah.
Nat?
No, I haven't had any issues. I mean, to be honest, I've when I've run it, I haven't connected it to anything else. I'd literally just powered it up to 100% and then just run it down to usually like 5%. That's what I said. I mean, to be honest, it's actually a rather nice thing. It's on average, it's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours in terms of game. And I actually kind of see that as nice. That okay,
Yeah.
2.5 hours, and it's most probably a good idea to take a break. And it doesn't take a huge amount of time to charge it, so it's just nice that I'm gonna let it, get down to about 5%, take it off, charge it, and then take a break for an hour or hour and a half, whatever it is, and then maybe come back to it. So like I say, I understand going for the longer sessions and stuff, but I just like the way that the battery lasts the amount of time. It isn't like it lasts an hour. I've never come across anything like that. So I think the closest I've ever come is about 2 hours, and that was,
Yeah.
like I say, playing an awful lot of super hot and realised that actually I do suck at playing games, but I will see. I will keep trying.
Just
but
want a quick
yeah,
shout
no.
out to Boy Brown, thank you very much. Robin Schuyler, thank you ever so much. And Donkey Gamer says, I think you three make a great round table. Keep the show going. I was like, oh,
Thank you
cool.
very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man.
That's kind.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
that's nice. That's lovely. Who else we got on here? Hello, Scottish. How's it going? Scottish made a fantastic video on Star Wars. Star Fox from the SNES, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved that. I love looking at some old stuff, some of the older retro games. What else we got? Just want to make sure. I like to go through the chat to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Oh, how cool is
Yeah.
VR chat? So,
I haven't tried it yet. Again, I've
That's
downloaded
one
it. Just
again.
haven't got
No,
around to it.
yeah, yeah. I have gone into big screen.
yeah. So VR
So
chat for
VR
me.
chat.
Have you used it on PC, Sal? So must have used it on PC.
No, because Rec Room is more Rec Room based.
Mate, VR chat is absolutely insane. It is an insane VR experience, and I so hope that as many people. I met Kermit the Frog, but
that's what you got to do, isn't it? I met Kermit the Frog. Can I blame him? Can I go meet Kermit the Frog and blame him for the permanent music that's stuck in my head? Manam, constantly.
That right, honestly, right. It couldn't have been Kermit the Frog, obviously, but in VR there was some wrong stuff going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, and
that's why I've avoided. That's why I've avoided.
There was that. There was 3 velociraptors stand on top of one another, and obviously these avatars, they talk and move, and they're animated. It's fantastic. So Kermit the Frog, this guy, actually, I've got a video of it, and I've sort of held it back a little bit. He talked like Kermit the Frog. He knew, and I was Googling it at the same time to catch him out. He knew his first date he was on air, the first time, like his first film, people that were in the original or not in it later on. Like, he knew everything about. He was bloody Kermit the Frog, and I was like, mind blown completely. And then I discovered the avatars, and I was Soundwave from Transformers, and you could actually transform into the tape deck and transform back out. I was Cloud from Final Fantasy, Sephiroth, Iron Man. It is absolutely amazing. I met some really nice people in there, but the only thing on the Quest, and when you go into it, you'll see that some of the avatars are not available on the Quest currently. So you end up looking like a mannequin sort of thing, like a base model. And you go into VR chat, and there's a load of people you know who's on the Quest straight away, pretty much, because they're all just this generic avatar. And I'm assuming that's something that needs to be updated. But I found VR chat worked better and closer in performance-wise to Rec Room. Rec Room for me in the Quest was a little bit stuttery, and it wasn't quite as smooth at the moment.
They've got with the avatar thing. It's literally there are custom-built avatars, and for the Quest side, they would have to be purposely optimized for it. So they have Quest-safe optimized stuff. There's also more rooms on the PC side. So rooms and locations as well in VR chat have Quest-friendly ones, and then they have PC-only ones because of the amount of processing power that it takes.
See, I knew nothing. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I mean, if you consider that VR chat itself is working on the Oculus Quest anyway, there was always going to be,
and it's free.
Obviously, some fallback against what a PC can offer. I mean, it's never going to match it.
Caveats.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be, I mean, what they've done is pretty amazing, and obviously, everyone's always going to find shortcuts. And get a little bit more out of something. I mean, you look at a PS4 game from a game that launched to a game that's coming out now, and you're just like blown away by the quality of the graphics. It's because they always find these minor little shortcuts. And you look at the people at Oculus. You've got the CTO, John Carmack. Everyone knows who John Carmack is.
Yeah.
What that guy did with it was groundbreaking. Anyone that's ever loved a first-person shooter, John Carmack, if he likes to drink, will never have to buy himself a drink ever again, because everyone that has ever played Doom will buy him a drink.
Yes, mate.
Because we can't ever, give it. But so, like I say, there is always going to be things that don't match up to the PC, but and that's the one thing I've seen most about people asking me about Quest is, well, it doesn't match this, it doesn't match that. If you go into the Quest thinking it's a PC, yes, you're going to be disappointed. Yeah. You can't. You have to take the Quest at face value for what it is. And once you actually take it, if you take away all your preconceived notions about VR, whether it's PlayStation VR, PC VR, and just take the Quest for what it is, it is an unbelievable piece of tech, and it is so much fun. And that's the main thing. Guess what? The Switch isn't as powerful as a PS4. Still have a lot of fun with the Switch. It's all about what fun can I have.
I think this is absolutely incredible.
And there's going to be so
much. I feel amazed that we are at this time already, at this point in time, that in such a short space of time, like I think so I experienced it in 2016, I think it was, I'm not 100%, first time I'd done did it come out in 2016 PSVR, like October or something, I think, or
end of the year. It's been 3 years.
So
3 years that VR's been around.
Crazy.
To go from that to having this, I still can't believe it. I don't know if it's because I'm old or older. I don't know, but like it amazes me that we've got this now. And someone in the chat was asking about broken controllers. I think I saw something on Reddit where the guy dropped it on the Rift S. They're the same controllers for the Rift S and the Quest, by the way, and you can use them on both. But his ring had been broken. So yeah, I mean, I've dropped them a couple of times, but it's only been on carpet. It hasn't been on like the laminate or anything hard. So I think they're pretty durable. But
yeah, I think that the plastic for the Quest ones and the Rift S ones, it doesn't feel somewhat as sturdy as the original Rift one.
oh
to me.
mate, no, these are bloody.
Yeah, they are like
These are heavier as well, though. Bear in mind, I mean, this feels like half the weight in comparison.
Yeah, these are really, really solid things, but they initially came with a price.
Yeah.
I mean, this is tech come with a price, but it's led on to this being more affordable and this being more gettable by many more people. And I think that's a part of the point that I think one of the questions that got posed about Quest was, what do you think is the standout feature of the Quest? And I was like, there isn't a standout feature. It's a whole package.
Yeah.
And that is the point of it. If you just highlight one feature, then you're doing no justice to the entire thing.
Yeah.
The reason why it's liked and onboarded with so many people, and people that have been in VR and done VR a lot on PCs and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that have gone, oh, the Quest is so much better. And people go, but it doesn't have the clarity of this, that, or the other. They're not getting the overall picture that that person is looking at what it gives for them as an overall in terms of use.
I can't help it, man. I think there's not any real downsides to this for me. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah.
And it probably does make my review probably so biased. I mean, it's my opinion. That's all it's ever going to be. But even the sound quality of speakers, I think, are amazing.
Sound quality, good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And the visual quality as well. And I hate to say it, I think it's clearer than the PSVR.
It's loads clearer than the PlayStation.
It is. It's clear. The clarity is.
100%.
What is it? 1440 by 1660? Is it? Or 1600?
It's 1440 by 1600. The Quest is OLED.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing on that as well. I mean, clarity wise, this has the same screen resolution
as the
a Vive Pro.
Yeah.
And how much is a Vive Pro?
A Vive Pro just for the headset's like 900 odd quid just for the headset.
Without being able to even play anything.
That's without tracking.
Yeah.
That's without hand tracking. That's just the headset.
What model did you go for, guys? What size? Hard
I
drive?
went for a 64.
64.
Yeah, and I mean, we've discussed file size and it comes up quite often. I think the biggest file on there currently is Dance Central, which is 2.6 gig. So, how are you finding? Like, I've got the 128, by the way. I don't know if I just said that, but I did try and cancel it. As soon as I saw the file sizes, I was like, I don't need 128. I'm pretty certain I wouldn't need that. So, what about? How do you feel about that? Do you regret it, or are you happy with what you did, or what you chose?
I'm good with it because I think the only reason why I would possibly want to have a higher file size on there is if I thought I was going to be traveling around and wanted something to watch a load of films on.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I was going to travel around and I wanted something to watch a load of films on, then yeah, the biggest storage capacity would be about it more. Whereas as it is, the games, at the moment I'm finding I'm only playing a couple of games, you know, mostly Dance Central and Super Hot, which I had great fun playing Super Hot under some trees, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that, man. What gardens were they? Were they your gardens?
No, it's a stately home that basically belongs to my work. It's one of the main offices buildings.
Nice.
And stuff. So it's you know, it's got stately home garden things, but you have to obviously this is one thing that a lot of people are going to try and do as well. This does not work in sunlight.
No,
No,
not at all. No.
doesn't work in darkness either. I say it's got to have that
So,
mid connection. But,
What about you?
you-
Have you used yours outside, Nat, at all?
No.
Right.
To be honest, I've got no reason to. So I got a thing. I've got a couple of people at work that want to give it a try. So I'll take it into work. We've got a warehouse there, so again, a bit like what Salsa was saying. Hey, we've got plenty of room, so if they fall flat on their arse, I can laugh at them and be,
yeah.
it shouldn't be an
Interesting
issue.
point on the light point, because this works best in kind of a dimmed room. But if you were in a space that you want to use this in more darkness, such as you don't want your neighbours to see you out in your back garden flailing your arms around like an idiot, then you can actually just buy an infrared light that doesn't actually give any visible light.
Okay.
And this will work with that. So you can actually illuminate your play area with infrared light, and this will actually work with that, just as well as normal lights.
Right. Boy Brown said he got one from Argos today, and there seemed to be plenty in stock. So I don't know
He
whether
got
they
a
just
case. He said he got a
Oh,
case.
is it a case? Oh, sorry, man. I need to get a travel case for mine. Actually.
Oh, yeah, the case did sell out. That's the official one.
I do want to say with Boy Brown, he did actually ask earlier on about games that were upcoming for the Quest. Maybe that would be something we can touch on a little bit later.
What is there? What's the sword game?
You got Swords of Gargantua.
That's it.
I've had a beta on.
Damn. Don't forget the time
Yeah,
as
I've
well.
played it. Yeah. What's up, man?
Don't forget the time.
All right, man. No worries. Yeah, I reckon we've got 10 more minutes.
Well, you got Fuji, which is my sort of game. I'm sorry, I like those whimsical type games. You've got Swords of Gargantua. You've got Raccoon Lagoon, I think it is. The big one that we still haven't got a date on that has been confirmed that it will be coming to Quest is The Climb.
That's right. Yeah.
Crossfire as well.
Yeah. You've got the new that stealth game. I can't think what the title of it is off the top of my head. That's
He's
just
on my
been announced.
Discord. It looks like Metal Gear Solid kind of thing. He's going through
but you're in a kayak for the entire game, which sounds interesting. You're in a kayak for the entire game. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just like an opening level.
No. You're in a kayak, which be an interesting way of doing it. Obviously, the big thing that's going to be happening, if it's true, now there's two things I've heard. So Beat Saber, obviously, is the biggest game on Oculus Quest. It's the biggest game in VR. And it's most probably going to stay at the top of the charts for a while. Obviously, you got DLC dropping June 10th. They've confirmed now that custom levels are going to come, and the reason I say take it with a pinch of salt because I couldn't find official confirmation. Custom songs are coming to the Oculus Quest. You'll be able to put whatever song you want, build the level in custom levels, and then upload it to Quest.
Oh, not just side. Well, they're already doing. Is that already happening?
No, they're doing it through side-loading apps. This will be through the Beat Saber official thing. So if you want,
how can they do that though on here and not PlayStation?
There's an official builder that's happening. So there's a construction, the whole your own build, your own level thing. But I don't know how they're going to do the music licensing thing for it. That's what's questionable.
That's what stops it. That's what stops it.
Yeah. I'm assuming that they will absolve themselves somehow of responsibility for that and put it down to the creators.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the only thing that would actually work. That you would, for example, that you could only share it on your own headset. Now, if you then share it beyond that, well, that's down to you. We're not allowing people to do it. So I'm sure they've looked at the legals because obviously when they launched it for PC, their big thing originally was to try and team up with Spotify, and that kind of went.
God, that'd been awesome.
In terms of what you said about why isn't custom levels coming to PlayStation VR version, Sony won't allow it. Yeah. Simple as that. They confirm again. Beat Games confirmed. Sony will not allow us to do it. It's not coming.
Yeah, I get why Sony wouldn't as well, because you got to remember Sony's thing is always there is going to be that hard 60 FPS frame limit. Yep. Now, if you've played Beat Saber and custom levels on a PC, you know that at different points someone's done something in one map here or there that will lag your PC out.
Right.
And you will end up with VR lag in there that is so bad, and it will crunch down that FPS.
VR
and
lag is awful.
Yeah. And Beat Saber, in the middle of Beat Saber, if you hit a lag spot in a song, it's like, what? No. Ah. So, you know, they are protecting their interest of saying, we have a quality side here that we will not lower.
Yeah.
And that will be Sony's standpoint on that.
Well, they do it on the Quest at the moment. I mean, just to touch on the quality thing, there's a couple of games that are being made on it that have been turned down
Yes.
because on the library, I've noticed. So yeah, man, I was a bit like one of them. I can't talk. I've actually I've got a game that is unreleased on here from a developer I know, and we were so certain that it was going to come out, and it's a game that everyone has played here. I know, and it's got quite a following on PlayStation VR and PC, and they've told him no, he can't release it. And I was like, it's not a brand new title; it's a established game. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so I mean, we might still be able to check it out and stuff later on. But and then that led me on to checking out other games that I knew were coming, and you know, Oculus obviously. I mean, to be fair, VR wouldn't be where it would be without Oculus doing what he did in the first days anyway. You know, they set the ball rolling pretty much from what I can tell. They were really out there getting all the games on it and stuff. And yeah, I'm a little bit gutted. You know, that a game, I can't even say the name of it, of such quality for me can't make it onto the Quest. I don't know whether that's going to change. I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to happen about that.
Well, Oculus have confirmed that they're going to have a high curation on the Oculus Quest compared to PC. What they've said is, we might turn you down. We'll then go to the Oculus Rift, and maybe we will get you over. But you're saying this game is already out on the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, it's out on Rift. It's out on PlayStation VR as well.
There has to be something about that game
where
Oculus are saying no. Now, I've got to feel sorry for the developer. I'm sure after the broadcast things, you'll tell us what it is. But I obviously understand why you're not saying it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can kind of understand where Oculus are coming, because if they do make it a free-for-all, like the PC side, that could possibly hurt the Quest, because the Quest doesn't have the power at the end of the day of the PC. And if you start getting half a dozen really bad games, ports, that will kill your market quicker than anything else.
Yeah.
So I understand it from both points of view. I would most probably say with what the Quest is, I would prefer it to be curated. The content that comes through to Quest has been checked out by Oculus, and they feel it's of a high enough standard. So now, that doesn't mean, because we've already got things like the Beat Saber mods running through side downloading. Pavlov has got an alpha. The guy got it running within, 2 hours?
I was just going to say that. That was in the chat, man. I've still yet to have the time, because I've been working loads of different shifts, which unfortunately means this has got to come to a close soon. But that's something I really want to try on here, because he's constantly updating it as well. There's like already a different build from the original build that everyone streamed or made content for. So there's improvements.
So that might be a possible option for the developer that you're talking about. Is, well, I'll offer it as a demo as a side load. Maybe.
So yes, actually, that is part of the chat we had. Yeah, and I said to him, hold off. I don't know. I mean, because I can't tell you what it is. It's so it's so strange for me. I don't understand it. I was like, no way. But
all I can think of is, you know, at this standpoint at the moment is performance issues. If something drags a bit.
No, there's nothing, dude. Nothing. I've played it. Like I played the hell out of it. I was just like, I just want to touch back into the chat. Techmar said yesterday he had his first Quest crash with Vader Immortal, but he just restarted it in HMD and it works again. Have you guys had any crashing issues?
No, zero.
I have had crash. I have had a crash, but I was it's where I didn't get the power turned off properly, and I put it in a box, and that actually got it a bit too hot and was constantly running and it was constantly switching between turning off and not.
Yeah, because basically that sensor in there,
Yeah.
basically if you put it on, if it's already in an on state, it flips on and off, doesn't it? It thinks you've taken it off, and
Yeah.
I think if you can set a timer, but it will turn itself off after a minute,
Yeah, but
half a minute.
Yeah. It
Because
was
I
in a
know,
blackened box with that sensor covered,
yeah,
and it being in the box, it got hot. So that was the only time that I've managed to overheat it.
Quest got hot.
And it's literally that it was in a box, and it was still on, essentially, and kept on.
Yeah.
So that was it.
I'll tell you something I've found as well. These are swallowing AA batteries a lot quicker than the Rift. Like I'm down to like
Rechargeables, man.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, like in general, my AAs in the Rift, I think I've only changed them twice in the whole time I've had it.
Oh.
On the Quest, I mean, admittedly, because it's VR cover thing, I'm not exaggerating. I've spent 8 hours wearing this, trying to really put it through its paces because I want it. Because the things I've been reading, I needed to. I can't say, but I was just like, something's not right. Something's, maybe there's a point at this that I'm going to go, I understand. But yeah, I've been putting through its paces loads, and yeah, man, I mean, I'm down to 10% on those batteries already, but they were the ones out of the box. So yeah, man, yeah.
Batteries included is a good thing, man.
Absolutely, what a good film.
No, batteries included is a good thing.
Oh
Because
yeah,
when we grew up, it used to be no batteries included.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man says, yeah, he reckons the battery consumption is quite high. Right, guys, unfortunately, because this has been really, really good as like a first ever for this.
Been fun.
And a lot of people have asked if it's going to stay and we're going to do it again. I'd like to do it again if you guys are up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be, definitely. Obviously, it's going to vary sometimes with commitments from people, but definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hopefully, we can get it on a weekend and stuff. If anyone wants to jump on, I'm sure. I think earlier there was Twitter's put out links to Nat's Twitter, Salsa's Twitter. Once us three get together, and we'll arrange what time of day we can all put it out there. I've got a Discord. I think Salsa's got a Discord. We've all got ways that we can connect, and we can all post about it, and hopefully people will find it quick enough.
Definitely.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching. I don't know if I didn't put it out like socially on Facebook. It's just on the page. So thank you everyone on Facebook. Thanks to everyone on Twitch if they were watching. Thanks to everyone on YouTube, man. All your comments, especially your donations, is crazy, and all your likes. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you, SalsaKetchup, for your time. Thank you, Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming. Thank you for your time as well.
Thank you for setting this up. So appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah, it's pleasure.
Cool. Yeah. So Salsa, quickly, your light ring thing that makes you look so pretty.
Oh yeah. You mean the thing that does that with your eyes? So
like the Britney Spears thing. Yeah. Where
Yeah.
I need one of them. I've got lovely brown eyes. I need to get one.
I'll send you a link. It's not that expensive.
Cool.
It can be
Oh,
yours
no worries,
for about
Fraggle.
70 quid.
Mad Rush has got a good one. What is your worst VR accident? We're gonna have to finish on that one. What's your worst VR accident?
I swung the Move controller into my testicles. I just literally hit I went
Crippled.
like that, just went crank like that, and hit the floor. So yeah, that was actually playing super hot, by the way. I went to throw a shuriken, and I went like that and carried on with the controller and just went crack.
Excellent.
And went, oh, well, I haven't found them in a while. Ow, crack. I just
You forgot you had the boys.
Yeah,
that's
that's the worst thing that I've done.
I can't beat that, but the worst one I've done,
Oh, I
I
can't beat
was
that.
doing mixed reality with it's a ninja game, so sliced across, and I had a beer on the side, and the beer has gone vroom across the room and left a trail of beer flying through mixed reality.
Beautiful.
So that was kind of amusing, but it also meant that my floor got all beerified, and I had to quickly do stuff because my fan would have possibly exploded from electric and beer not being the best of friends.
My one was I left it in the video as well. Was Blade and Sorcery. I was playing that and I punched myself in the face. And I actually left it in a video because I was like, I had this guy I think by the neck, and I was going, and I went punch myself in the side of the face, and I thought, well, that'd be funny to leave in a video. But yeah, anyway, I have really got to go. I've got to go work in 15 minutes. Thank you ever so much for everyone joining. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to you two for being here, doing the VR link. So yeah, cheers guys. Thank you ever so much. Much appreciated. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day and evening, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.